So it's a pretty miserable day today. I'll take you out in a little bit once I'm done doing all this. It's sleet and freezing rain today. It looks like snow, and there's a good accumulation of it. I would say we're up to maybe an inch by now of just sleet and freezing rain. And it's pretty treacherous. There is nobody driving the road except one guy this morning I saw was a tow truck. He went down the hill, came back up the hill with a pickup truck on his bed of his truck. Last night, when I went to bed, it was 60 degrees. The house itself was 72-ish degrees, right about a half hour before I went to bed. It was 72 degrees in the house. Not bad at all. So I brought the Buddy Mr. Heater, portable Buddy heater in, and I warmed the house up to 80 degrees. The temperature was, outside temperature was supposed to stay above 40 degrees until 5 o'clock in the morning. At 3 o'clock this morning, I got up and it was just downright cold in here. So I fished around for a little flashlight and my little thermometer, and it was 63 degrees inside. I opened up my weather app and it was already in the 30s. So the weatherman was wrong again, of course, but that's okay. I'm not complaining this time. So I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I started a fire. Now I had the wood stove staged. It had the firewood in it. Everything was ready to go. All I had to do was take the little torch here, start it up. It started up within just a few minutes, and by 3:45 I was back in bed. I tell you, the Mr. Heater Portable Buddy was a fantastic purchase. We got it from Bass Pro Shop, and it was a refurbished one. Somebody bought it, didn't like it, sent it back. So we got it, and it was like half price. So usually I think they go for about $100, and I think we got ours for $50. I mean, it uses propane, and that's the disadvantage, but it heats this little house up pretty quickly. Like I said, in a half hour, had it up to 80 degrees in here. Doesn't take long. When it's really cold, it raises the temperature in the house about 10 degrees in an hour. Last week, I think I showed you how to start the wood stove up, and I gave really detailed instruction on how to do it. I thought about doing that again today, and I thought, nah, I just did it a week ago, so it's in my playlist if you missed it. So that was at 3 o'clock this morning. I would say it's probably almost 10 o'clock now, and we had to restart it. Now, like I said, the temperature, I guess, is below freezing, or right around the freezing mark. 6-7 hours is what it did. Now, the wind is blowing really hard, and that's the thing about the house. I've sealed up the house really good. There is no leaks that I can see. But when it's windy like this, it just seems to suck the warm air out of the house for some reason. I would have expected, I think, for the house to remain warm until about noon, 1 o'clock today. But with it being windy, it was 7 hours. There were still some coals in the bed. I don't get to do that very often. Normally I have to start it with the blowtorch because the stove itself, you know, that fire brick in there, it's not actually fire brick. I don't know what that's called, but it looks like fire brick. I'm going to shut this real quick. The fire brick in there holds the heat in so well, plus the little pans of water we got up here, holds the heat so well that once the fire completely shuts down, such as this fan will stop turning because that's a heat-driven fan, I don't have to start it but twice a day. But today, since it's so windy, we'll probably end up having to start it 3 or 4 times. So I started at 3 o'clock this morning. Here it is, 10 o'clock. I'll probably have to start it again around 4 o'clock, and then before we go to bed. I'll probably have to get up in the morning to start it again, like, I don't know, 3 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there, because we're going to get down to 7 degrees. Now, this week is supposed to warm right back up to 60 degrees, so we're right in that tornado alley time frame right now. It seems to be a little early this year. I mean, we're getting some extreme temperatures, and I guess we had some pretty serious weather events last night, but we weren't affected by it. I think, I can't tell, but I think the area is without power. It just doesn't appear like there's anything on anywhere. I mean, of course, you know, we live so far away from anything that we can tell, but it just either nobody has turned anything on in the area, or there's just the power's out. But we got our solar panels. I ran the generator this morning because it was a little cloudy, of course. The solar panel is going to be covered up with that sleet and rain all day. I'd be down there sweeping it off all day. So I went ahead, charged batteries with the generator for probably 3 hours. I'll have to do that again tonight. There's just no options with it snowing all day like this. Went down and opened up the cage to the chickens this morning. They won't come out. These kind of temperatures, this wet temperature when it's cold and wet, they don't come out of the chicken coop. They won't come out into the chicken run. So tomorrow, after this all dies down, I'll put some more straw down so they can come out. So I went down there at 5 o'clock, gave them food and water, but I didn't put it in the coop because at the time, it wasn't even raining. It didn't start raining or sleeting until, I guess, 6 o'clock. So I just fed them normally. Well, by 8 o'clock, I realized they weren't going to come out. So I went back down there, put their food and water inside their chicken coop. So I'll go down here a little bit and give them some more water, take you a walk around the property so you can see the snow. As soon as this fire is up and roaring. Okay, I'm coming outside now. I'll show you the ceiling. I actually got a lot of feedback from that the last time I showed you. That's our see-through roof on our back porch. I got the waterproof case on my camera, so I had to match up the sound to the film on the video because I record my voice on this, and then in editing I put the two together. Because the case, the waterproof case, also is soundproof. Well, not totally, but almost. I thought I'd come out here and it'd still be snowing or sleeting or whatever it's supposed to be doing, but it appears to have stopped, even though the weather map clearly shows that it's still over us. But it's going to start back up, so I guess it doesn't hurt anything. It took me about a half hour to get the camera set up so I could do it this way. I wasn't going to undo it, so I'm going to take the water down to the chickens. They won't come out. I feel bad on days like this where they don't come out, but it's okay. I'll take care of them the best I can, and then tomorrow, like I said, I'll put some straw down so they'll come out and throw some corn out for them. It's interesting how this has worked. The ground is not frozen. Like I said, yesterday it was 60 degrees and it rained, and so the ground is still mushy soft. And you'll see, like right here, the water didn't freeze. The snow just landed on top of it, or sleet, or whatever you want to call that. There's the solar panels, and I'm just not going to bother with them today. I'll deal with them tomorrow. Get them all swept off. The wind is really strong. We have a little laundry sink on our back porch. I showed you those over the summer. Carolyn does her laundry in them, but they're just sinks. You can buy them, plastic sinks. One of them got thrown off the porch. The wind was so strong. I mean, it's not extremely heavy, but it's still kind of surprising to see it get thrown off the porch. So, they're just not going to come out. Let's see if there's any in here that you can see. We got two back there nesting. Oh, it's warm in here. That's interesting. Well, I guess Two-Face is laying eggs now. That's Rue. And Rue's on top of Two-Face. She's the youngest bird we got, so that means all our chickens should be laying eggs now. That's great. Great news. So I'm not going to bother the hens and check eggs. If I bother them, then I don't know what that does to them. So I just let them lay there. The eggs won't freeze as long as they're laying on top of them. So I have to apologize for the bounciness. I got the GoPro on with the high boost is what it's called, which means it takes all the bounciness out of it. But the problem is I just got my regular tripod made into a selfie stick, so it doesn't work as well. Thought I'd spend a minute and tell you what I've learned. The avian flu is back. And the last time the avian flu hit, they had to shut down, basically kill all the chickens in Iowa. I think they said that prices increased on chicken and eggs. Well, that was 5 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. Like 60%. It was an incredible increase. It's back. And I can't name all the states, but it's on the East Coast states. Kentucky and Indiana. That's two I know for sure. What it is wild birds carry the influenza. Now, I don't think the wild birds actually get sick. They carry the virus, but it doesn't hurt them. So what happens, I guess, is the droppings they create, the farmer picks it up on the bottom of their shoe, carries it into their coop, and the chickens get sick, then I guess they have to kill the chickens. Georgia Department of Health just stopped all sale, expeditions, assemblies, flea markets with chickens. So they're not doing any trading with chickens. They're trying to prevent the disease to be spread. Now, I heard some YouTubers say that they shut down production in Georgia. I couldn't find anything like that. The backyard chickens are getting it too. So what I'm trying to do is limit my shoes into the coop. If there is bird droppings in the area that are contaminated with the virus, I don't want to bring it into the coop. I mean, a bird can go in there. I've seen a bird in the chicken run before, but just once. It's not like they spent a lot of time trying to get in there. And it was on a day like this, it was snowed, and I'd thrown corn in there. And so the birds went in there to eat the corn. I won't throw any corn in there when there's snow. I'm just gonna try to keep these guys healthy. This is a little concerning, but I'm just gonna take some proactive approaches. I have an old pair of shoes that had a rip in the bottom of the sole, and I glued them up, and I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and put on a new pair of boots. And so I'll carry those boots down here. And before I go into the coop or the chicken run, I'll change out my shoes. But I'm gonna take a little bit of precaution to try to keep it out of there and hope that the birds will stay out. I think the backyard chickens that have them don't have a cover on it. And so droppings can fall into it. So if you'll click onto this little up next box, I'd appreciate it. Take you over to the other channel, watch a funny video. I hope I can inspire you to enjoy your life, no matter what the weather condition, so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.